Imagine the dawn of aviation, a time when flight was still a wonder and the possibilities seemed endless. Among the pioneers of this era was Jonathan Edward Caldwell, a man whose dreams soared as high as the skies he aimed to conquer. Unlike others refining traditional airplanes, Caldwell sought to revolutionize flight itself, crafting aircraft that could take off vertically, hover mid-air, and mimic the elegance of bird flight. His bold experiments left a legacy of ambition, innovation, and mystery, culminating in an unexpected connection to one of the 20th century's most enduring cultural phenomena, UFOs. Jonathan Edward Caldwell was born in 1883 in Ontario, Canada. Though little is known about his early years, he eventually immigrated to the United States, where he worked as a farmer before delving into aviation. He wasn't a trained engineer, yet he became consumed by the mechanics of flight, particularly the way birds soared and maneuvered effortlessly through the air. Caldwell's vision extended far beyond the conventional designs of the time. He believed the future of aviation lay in vertical takeoff and landing, VTOL, aircraft that could operate in confined spaces and navigate like no fixed-wing plane could. This concept, decades ahead of its time, would later be realized in modern helicopters and tilt rotors, but Caldwell was attempting it in the 1920s and 1930s with far less advanced technology. Despite his lack of formal training, Caldwell's enthusiasm and determination fueled his work. He began filing patents for radical new designs, experimenting with unconventional shapes and propulsion systems, all aimed at overcoming the limitations of traditional aircraft. Caldwell's first major innovation was the cyclogyro, patented in 1923. The design featured rotating frames with adjustable blades, resembling Ferris wheels, mounted to either side of the fuselage. These rotating airfoils were intended to control lift and direction, allowing for vertical takeoff and hovering capabilities. While the concept was revolutionary, the technology of the era couldn't support its complexity. By 1927, Caldwell turned to nature for inspiration with the ornithopter, a flapping wing aircraft designed to mimic bird flight. Its fabric-covered wings incorporated valves that opened on the upstroke and closed on the downstroke to generate lift and thrust. Though imaginative, the design faced the same fate as the cyclogyro. Its potential outpaced the engineering of the time. In 1933, Caldwell unveiled his most ambitious creation, the feather-wing plane. Featuring 3 revolving wings on each side, the aircraft aimed to replicate the flapping motion of birds. Caldwell claimed it would redefine aviation, making vertical flight possible and practical. But despite its groundbreaking design, the featherwing never achieved sustained flight, hampered by limited funding and technical setbacks. Caldwell's work culminated in the disc rotor plane, developed in 1934. With its circular rotor functioning as both wing and propeller, Caldwell envisioned it as a cheap, mass-market aircraft that could take off from small spaces. He promised it would cost less than an automobile, making personal flight accessible to everyone. Yet, like his earlier designs, the disc rotor plane struggled in test flights, culminating in a crash that marked the end of the project. By 1940, mounting debts and legal troubles forced Caldwell into obscurity. He vanished abruptly, leaving behind unfinished projects and a trail of unanswered questions. His disappearance might have been the end of his story, if not for an extraordinary discovery nearly a decade later. In 1949, Maryland State Police investigating reports of abandoned aircraft stumbled upon a tobacco shed on a farm near Glen Burnie. Inside, they found 2 peculiar machines covered in dust but unmistakably unique. One resembled a giant wooden tub, about 14 feet in diameter, with an engine and cockpit at its center. Around its top and bottom rims were 4-bladed propellers designed to rotate in opposite directions. The other was a helicopter-like contraption topped with a disc-shaped rotor, stretching 16 feet across and covered in airplane cloth. The discovery captivated the public and drew the attention of the U.S. Air Force, which had been investigating a wave of UFO sightings since 1947. Could these strange machines explain the mysterious flying discs reported across the country? The Air Force thought it was possible. At the time of the discovery, UFO mania was sweeping the nation. Kenneth Arnold's sighting of flying discs over Mount Rainier in 1947 had sparked a cultural obsession with unidentified flying objects. Caldwell's disc-shaped aircraft seemed to fit the description, and the timing of their rediscovery fueled speculation. The Air Force launched an investigation speculating that Caldwell, or someone inspired by his work, might have developed advanced versions of these designs in secret. Captain Claudius Belk, leading the inquiry, noted that Caldwell's smaller models had reportedly flown successfully in the 1930s, even if the larger prototypes had failed. The possibility that these crafts might have been mistaken for flying saucers added a layer of intrigue to an already mysterious story. Even skeptics couldn't dismiss the parallels. Caldwell's rotating discs, hovering capability, and unconventional shapes aligned with public descriptions of UFOs. While the Air Force ultimately dismissed the connection, their initial interest legitimized Caldwell's place in UFO lore. Reactions to Caldwell's work were deeply divided. Supporters, including mechanics who worked on his prototypes, praised him as a visionary, claiming his designs were simply ahead of their time. Critics, however, dismissed him as an over-ambitious dreamer whose ideas lacked practical feasibility. The rediscovery of his aircraft reignited fascination. Headlines like "Original Flying Saucers Found" captured the public imagination, blending fact and folklore. While some saw his machines as precursors to modern VTOL technology, others latched onto the UFO connection, believing his designs were linked to extraterrestrial technology or secret military projects. Jonathan Caldwell's story is a testament to human ambition and the fine line between genius and folly. His designs, though flawed, anticipated concepts that would later shape modern aviation. The discovery of his aircraft during the height of UFO mania blurred the boundaries between aviation history and cultural mythology, ensuring his place in the annals of both. Caldwell may not have achieved his dreams, but his work continues to inspire curiosity and speculation. Whether remembered as a misunderstood inventor or a figure in UFO lore, his legacy invites us to imagine what lies just beyond the horizon. Jonathan Caldwell's story is a remarkable blend of ambition, innovation, and mystery. He was a man who dared to challenge the limits of his time, crafting aircraft that embodied dreams of a future where flight was accessible to everyone. Yet his legacy is as much about the questions he left behind as the machines he created. Were his designs simply ahead of their time, or were they an inspiration for something greater? Could the strange crafts discovered in Maryland really explain the UFO sightings that captured the world's imagination? While the answers remain elusive, one thing is certain: Caldwell's vision continues to captivate those who explore the intersection of history, aviation, and the unknown. His story reminds us that even when dreams don't fully take flight, they can still soar in the minds of those who dare to dream. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more captivating tales of aviation pioneers and the mysteries of the skies. Let me know in the comments. Do you think Caldwell's designs could have influenced modern aircraft, or are they simply relics of a bygone era? Join me next time as we uncover more stories that shape the history of flight. See you in the skies.